Hey everybody, it's Ryan, that man from Baltimore, where it is definitely not warm. But if you kick back on today's show, you're gonna see why Passport Bros are passporting going to warmer places, better destinations, and changing their lives. It's a good thing that you checked on right now. Come on with us. We're gonna have some fun over here.
Live from Baltimore, Maryland, the Passport Bros Network presents to you the Clubhouse.
If you would agree with me up front, life's a journey, right? There are some people who live and there are other people who exist. It's a big difference between the two. People who exist, yeah, they go to work, they pay their bills, they check the boxes, and they can go on to have what some might consider a nice life. But then there are folk who got the same 24 hours in a day, but somehow find a way to live. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, these people get more out of life, they get more out of their waking hours than most people get out of an entire lifetime. These are the folk who find themselves laughing all the time. These are the folk who smile for no apparent reason. Do you know anybody like that? I do. And every day I wake up, I try to be a person who lives and not just exists. Life's a journey. And at the end of the day, I want to invite you to go on this journey with me and the Passport Bros Network, and we try to figure out a sense of self-awareness and awareness of the world around us. Whether we're paying attention or not, there's a lot of stuff going on every day, every place. Outside of our neighborhoods, outside of our communities, outside of our comfort zones. I'm pushing, and I'm inviting you to come along as we push. Because at this point in my life, I've discovered that there are two main things that I desperately want. And when I say what I want, I mean, I want from the relationships and from the people I care about. There are two things. One, respect. And the other is recognition. In my core, in my heart of hearts, I work as hard as I work because I want recognition. I want somebody to say, that guy's good. I want somebody to say, that brother's prepared. Cut right there. I want somebody to just look and say, that boy kicks ass and takes names. That's why I do what I do. I'm different. I'm better than the other guy. I work harder than the other guy. And it just means something when people recognize who you are. I mean, there's a reason why we look at the Shannon Sharps, the Kobe Bryants, the Michael Jordans, the Steph Currys, fill the blank with whoever you want to put in there. These guys work hard and they demonstrate it when given opportunity to hit the court. I want my recognition. And as a man living in the U.S. of a particular hue, recognition doesn't always come. In fact, I heard when I was when I was about 16 years old, somebody at the Martin Luther King Center in Atlanta spoke to me and said, son, you may not get everything that you work for, but you will damn sure work for everything that you get. I didn't understand it then. I was a boy. But now that I'm wearing a man's clothes, I know what he meant. I want my recognition. I want recognition for fighting. I want recognition for struggling and not giving up, not giving in, not giving out. I want recognition for being a man in my community. I want recognition for not being a statistic. I want recognition. Somebody just say, that's a good man right there. I don't know about you, but that means something to me. But not only recognition. Go figure. But at the end of the day, I want respect. In short, I've discovered in my relationships as a man, I'm not looking for love. I mean, I got love. I love myself. People I love me back. What I really want is the respect of my loved ones. In psychology, I remember in college, they called it the looking glass self. We see ourselves to a large extent in the same manner in which those people who are closest to us see us. So if everybody in my life who have meaning for me said that guy is amazing, that guy is going to be special, that guy is going to change the world, and if these were the only people that I spent time with, how long do you think it would take as a young man for me to begin to see myself as special, as amazing, as a world changer? Likewise, if I was surrounded by people who kept telling me all the time, he ain't gonna be nothing. Some of y'all heard that story, right? He wasn't nothing. He ain't gonna be nothing because his daddy wasn't nothing. His granddaddy wasn't nothing. He comes from nothing. And if those were the only people that I spent time with during my formative years, and they kept telling me, I'm not going to be anything. They kept treating me like Rudolph on the island of the misfit toys. How long would it take for me as a young man to begin to perceive myself as the failure they told me I was going to be? It's tough out here. It's tough for men and it's tough for women. But this channel exists as part of the Passport Bros Network to speak to and help men. Most of us men, we want respect. Respect, in case you're wondering, what does it look like? Respect looks like this. When a problem comes up and I look in my lady's eyes and she gives me that assurance, baby, you got this. That's respect. When she looks at me in the midst of the problem, sees the furrowness on my brow as I rub my head and struggle and wrestle and begin to work that thing out. She come over and she rubbed my shoulder and said, baby, I got you something to drink. You know what I mean? Baby, I'm in your corner. Baby, what can I do to help you help us? Why? Because I believe in you. I know you're going to work it out. You always do. Why? Because that's what men do. For me, respect is the best way to show me love. How can you say you love me if you don't respect me? But if you respect me, I know you love me. Recognition, I crave it, like many people. I want recognition for my effort. I want recognition for my accomplishments. Hey, I want recognition for my wins. How exciting would it be for the Super Bowl champions if there was no parade, no confetti, no trophy after the Super Bowl? Many of us have been working so hard and we never got our confetti. We never sniffed a parade. And Lord knows, nobody gave us a trophy. I'm not saying that we got to get a trophy every time we do something, but my God, give a brother a trophy sometime. We done got a long way. Remember that old song, Denise Williams? Let's hear it for the boy. Let's get a boy a hand. Maybe he's no Romeo, but he's my love one-man show, right? Man, can you imagine how successful you would be if the people in your life, the people that you value, the people that you love, said thank you, patted you on the back, tell them how grateful they are for you, how proud they are that you fight and don't give in, don't give up, don't give out. Man, you go ahead and you put your clothes on the next day and you go back out there and you kick all kinds of butt. Stop selling yourself short. Get your respect. Get your recognition. Because at the end of the day, whatever you accept from the people that you care about, you're training them how to treat you. That's real talk. I may not be the smartest guy in the room, but I tell you what, ain't nobody gonna ever outwork me. I'll stay up late. I'll turn a page. I'll drink some coffee and some Mountain Dew and do whatever I gotta do to find the answer and to keep you off balance. Because I'm that type of guy. Work hard all day long. And I'm learning that it's okay to stop working. It's okay to take a knee. It's okay to go on vacation. Yeah, I work hard because I come from an era where there was a word that people would say, hey, when things get tough, man up. But I like another thing now. I'm not just manning up, I'm stamping up. I got a passport. And in my passport, I got some stamps. All the places I go. Why? Because life is different for me when I go somewhere else. When I go where people don't know me. See, back here in Baltimore, I grew up in a school system that said, look, if you're going to work hard, we're going to show you your recognition. Here go your gold star. You give me the right answer, gold star. Here's your sticker. And I swear to God, me and all my friends, all we wanted was to be recognized by the teacher. Here's my sticker. So from kindergarten all the way up through middle school, we were looking for our sticker. We were looking for our gold star. We were looking for that immediate recognition for our study and our application of what they were teaching us in school. But I remember when I was leaving high school, it was a requirement at my high school that everybody applied to college, at least one university. I went down to my guidance counselor's office to talk to her about the school that I was going to apply to. To my surprise, when I got down there, she didn't bring out any college applications. She brought out pamphlets and brochures. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine. Now, before you get it twisted, I ain't got no problem with the military. I respect the military. I come from a military family. My grandfathers on both sides, military men. My daddy, military man. My brother, military man. My cousins, male and female, military folk. You know, see what I'm saying? See where I'm going here? And I said, well, wait a minute. My family has sent a sufficient contribution of men and women into the military, but not too many people to a college and university. Because I have certain cognitive blessings, perhaps my contribution to my community may be best made not by serving in the military like so many of my relatives proudly have done, but perhaps I might have opportunity to go to a college or a university and develop that space between my ears and make a contribution to my community in that way. So as I looked at the pamphlets, I pushed back my chair, looked my guidance counselor in the eye, because I knew at that point she was not going to be helpful. Said, thank you for your time. My family has served honorably, but I'm going to college. She looked at me and said, you're not college material. You may not even get out of high school. At 16 years old, I told her she was wrong. I turned around and I walked out. I was having a cast party at the home of the young lady who played Dorothy. Her mama was there, and she's a sweet lady. She had come to see the play many times, and she had enjoyed all of our performances. And while we were at the cast party, this woman, I'm going to name her because she's special to me. Her name is Mrs. Gladden. Mrs. Gladden looked at all of us kids. I was still 16 years old at the time. And she said, what are y'all doing after graduation? Graduation was just in a few weeks. And I remember her daughter said, I'm going to go to Towson. Another guy, my friend, said, I'm going to Drexel. Another person mentioned this, I'm going here, I'm going here, I'm going here. I said, where are you going to go? I said, I'm going home. And everybody laughed. And she looked at me and said, no, baby, you must have misunderstood the question. I heard her question, and I understood what she was asking me. I hadn't applied to any school. I had had that experience with my guidance counselor I told you about, and I'd never applied to a college before. And somewhere I just never got around to doing it. My parents weren't involved and couldn't help in that area. And when I told her I'm going home, she looked at me and said, no, baby, I meant, where are you going to school next year? I said, ma'am, I'm not going to college. And she said, why? I said, I never applied. Her face changed. You ever been around a black woman when her face changed? Thank God for her. And she said, everybody go outside. And so all my friends began to leave. Her daughter left, and I turned around to leave. She said, no, baby, not you. And I had no idea what was coming next. I said, yes, ma'am. What do you want? And I think maybe one of the worst things for a 16-year-old boy is to be separated from everybody else. She did that. And she looked at me and said, baby, you're too talented. You're too gifted. You've got too much potential not to go to college. And she said, where do you want to go? I said, well, I went to the Career Development Center several months ago, and I found this university called Denison University. It's in Granville, Ohio. It's a little liberal arts school. And it just seemed perfect for me, but I never applied, and it's just a dream. She said, this is what I want you to do. On Monday, you go to the Career Development Center, you get an application. Now watch this, y'all. She said, you get an application. You fill it out. Bring it to me, and then we're going to go through it together and submit it. Man, that woman did for me what my parents didn't do. Not because they were bad people, they just didn't know. See, every now and then you need somebody to come into your life to show you how to walk on water. You know what I mean by that? I believe that anybody can walk on water if you know where the rocks are. See, she showed me where the rocks were. You put your name in this spot. You write your essay here. You complete this section. You do this, you do that, you put it all together, you fold it up, you put it in an envelope, stamp it, make sure that you have enough postage on it, and then you submit it to the Office of Admission. She showed me every step to move from high school to college. I just found out just a few months ago, I was talking to her daughter, and I've been out of high school for more than 20 years. I ain't gonna tell you how, but more than 20. And I was talking to her daughter, my friend, the one who had played Dorothy, and I said, you know, your mom is so special. Your mom did this for me. And I learned for the first time a few months ago, she said, my girlfriend, she said, I remember that. She said, my mother cried for you. I said, what? What do you mean? Now, Mrs. Gladden didn't drive. Now, she lived in Baltimore with me, but she lived in West Baltimore. My school was all the way in East Baltimore. Man, this woman walked to my high school, went to the principal's office, knocked on his door. He invited her in. She said, Miss Dr. Laus, who was my principal at the time, said, Dr. Laus, there's a young man in your school. I'm concerned about him. And she gave him my full name. And he looked at her and said, yeah, we met. I know Rise very well. George said, I've been in the principal's office a lot. I've been suspended a lot. We met. She said, this young man has so much potential. And she began to cry and said, I'm worried about him because if we don't help him, I don't know what's going to happen to him. He got her Kleenex, said, Ms. Gladden, I know Rise, I know his family. He's going to be all right. Because this woman cried for me, walked for me, knocked on doors for me. So ladies, you ain't got to ever worry about some negative stuff being on the Passport Bros Network. Because if it wasn't for a woman, I wouldn't be the man you know right here. Her name was Mrs. Gladden and her daughter. Because of this woman walking for me and helping me submit that application 2 weeks before college graduation, I got a letter from Denison University all the way in Granville, Ohio, who said, congratulations, we would like to invite you to enter our freshman class. I got to Ohio. Denison University at that time was 99% Anglo, 1% the rest of the world. Denison University at that time had just come off of a racial sit-in on its campus the spring before I entered as a 17-year-old freshman, because the university had not yet divested from South Africa, and there was pressure from the student body across ethnic lines for the university to pull out of the companies who were still supporting apartheid. I had no concept of race back then. I had no concept of sexism back then. I was a 16-year-old, just become 17-year-old kid who was just trying to become self-aware. Why is that important? Because the dropout rate at Denison University amongst African American students at that time was devastating. Like I told you, I wasn't the smartest guy on campus. I often said back then there were some who graduated from high school summa cum laude, magna cum laude. I graduated. Thank you, Lordy. I wasn't college material by anybody's measurement. But somehow, because Ms. Gladden fought for me and Dr. Lau supported me, I found myself on the beautiful hill in Granville, Ohio at Denison University. Then I had to figure out how to stay there. I stayed there by working hard. There's one of the entrances onto the campus, which is right by the theater department at Denison University. I was a theater major, economics major, double major. It says this: the heights by great men, reached and kept, were not obtained through sudden flight. But they, while their companions slept, were toiling upward in the night. For 4 years, I stayed up late. For 4 years, I studied, I prepared, I did the best that I could, just so that I did not go back to Baltimore embarrassed as another Negro who flunked out of college. I was fighting to earn respect. I was fighting for recognition. I was too broke. I would go to the bookstore. I would look at a poster. The poster couldn't have been more than $10. I didn't have it in my pocket. So I would look at the poster for inspiration. It was a picture of a great big house with a 5-car garage. And in the garage, there was a Lamborghini, there was a Porsche, there was a Ferrari, and there were other cars like that. And it had in big, bold letters these words: justification for higher education. And I said, I'm going to study. I'm going to remain here. I'm going to get a degree. And I'm going to prove to myself and to everyone else that I deserve to be here. I belong to be here. And I'm going to graduate with a degree from here. Not only did I graduate from college, I went to law school. I got my degree, my Juris Doctorate from law school at the University of Maryland. Beautiful school. President of the Student Bar Association 2 of the 3 years that I was on campus. Took the bar exam in Baltimore at the convention center. You know those big old tables you see in church, those 4-foot by 8-foot fold-out tables? It's like that. But there were only 2 people at a table. I was on my end, the other person was on the other end. And there were so many people, so many tables, that during the course of the exam, it's a 2-day exam, 16 hours, the Maryland State Bar. I looked up while I was taking the exam, and I saw a sea of people this way and a sea of people that way. And honestly, I got dizzy. And I had to speak to myself. That's what pastors used to say. Sometimes you got to learn how to encourage yourself. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I said, boy, put your head down and go back to work. This ain't time to be looking around. Finish it. So I sat down, I finished my exam. And after the second day, the 16th hour, I submitted my test. I waited those months. I got that result back. Boy, when I got that result back, congratulations. You've been admitted to the Maryland State Bar. Come on. This boy that wasn't college material, this boy that nobody thought much of for whatever reason. And boy, not only was I invited to Annapolis, the capital of the state of Maryland, to get sworn in as a member of the Maryland State Bar, but by the grace of God, I had performed so well on the Maryland State Bar exam that the District of Columbia said your score was so high, you can waive into D.C. and get sworn in as a member of the District of Columbia Bar Association as well. Neither my father nor my mother had graduated from college. As I was getting sworn in and taking the professional oath as an attorney in the state of Maryland, and I looked over at my mama and my daddy and saw the pride and the recognition and the respect, man, you would have knocked me over with a feather. As men, we catch hell when we don't do what we're supposed to do, and we should. But when you do what you're supposed to do and you show up and you win, despite the odds, you win. It means so much better when you got somebody beside you who knows what you went through to get there. That's why we keep fighting. That's why we get up in the morning. That's why we do what we do. We man up. But like I told you, we also got to start stamping up. Why do I travel? I travel to find peace. I travel to cut out the white noise in my life, to get away from the demand of what it means to be rise in a suit and tie and to go to court and to have clients and to solve problems and to put out fires and to have family members and other folk who have demands on the man in their life. I'm not telling them not to put the demands, because that's what men do. We put out fires. We protect. We provide. And I will never stop doing that for the people I care about. But I do understand that even Superman had to take off his cape and put on his suit and become Clark Kent. I mean, if not, why wasn't he Superman all the time? I got to be Clark Kent for a second. Superman is taxing. And even though he had opportunity to stop being Superman and to be Clark Kent, at some point, he had to build himself what he called his fortress of solitude, a place where Superman, Clark Kent, can go in there and put his feet up and do something a little different. Man, that's good. What am I telling you, brothers? Travel is therapy. Anything that you unplug and plug back up again will start again if it's in working order. So what I'm saying is, brothers, we need to unplug from the demands, or you're going to drive yourself crazy. You're going to become unbalanced. And you know what you're going to do? You're going to drive the folk in your life crazy. Go. We have created the Passport Bros Network, in particular the Clubhouse, to be a hub for our subscribers, our members, content creators, and social media influencers. Our goal is to serve as a hub and to utilize all the people around us to get good information right back to you. So come on in here, enjoy the journey, meet our team, and subscribe to the channel. Reward yourself. You deserve it.